let's move on to Guzel in Russia. And Guzel has been part of something very new there. She's founded a new organization just in the past few years. Guzel, would you like to tell us about that, what you do, and just how your organization is growing and some of the experiences you've had, please?
Hello, my name is Guzel Gurdus. I'm CEO of Homeschool Support Center and a mother of 5. Some years ago, my husband and I decided we had to homeschool our children. Not an easy decision to make. In Russia, for some 70 plus years, homeschooling was strictly forbidden. 3 generations of Russia were brought up thinking that proper education and socialization can only be achieved in the state-run school. Even nowadays, many parents consider homeschooling as something an irregularity. Few people consider that homeschooling had been around for quite some time. For thousands of years, it was in the family that people got their first training for the life to come. And while the education thus provided wasn't standardized, no one can double it was the parents that should school their children in adult responsibilities. And the children, thus school turned out better prepared for this adult life, ready to interact with their neighbors and colleagues for form strong families. The modern culture is a mate and the separation between generations. Children are in kindergarten or school, parents at work, all people are put in comfortable retirement house. This sort of separation leads to people growing up without experience through heartwarming family relationship. The scope of the inner needs as person shrinks to base self-interested. They grow incapable of loving other human beings, the motherland, the tradition, rootless generation. Homeschooling is natural God creation environment for bringing up and educating children. This is why, as a mother and citizen, I feel important to talk to people about homeschooling. And 2017 has led us to found HSS Center, an organization that support people who choose homeschooling option. 4 years down the line, HCC covered 22 regions of Russia without 8,000 children, as the number doubles annually. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, this separation I spoke about grew only worse. It was was difficult to socialize with our friends and to meet with like-minded people to advocate our values and the values of homeschooling. But yet, strange as it might seem, the same pandemic has served as a catalyst for change in people behaviors. The latest empirical research indicate a change in consumers' behavior. McKinsey, Deloitte, and other companies are regularly carrying out surveys, monitoring people values and ways them influence customer experience. This year, when asked that what things people come to value during the pandemic, the top responses were family, person and family members' health, friends, and religions. And at the bottom of this list, we think like career, work, and colleagues, personal growth. This is why we think that during this pandemic, many parents will be interested in homeschooling. Today panels, I remember, tiled building your team. When it's come to homeschooling, despite Russian legislation being relatively sympathetic towards the form, we still regularly have a deal with issues of homeschooling families having to find for right rights. The main areas of concern are lack of legal literacy in region of Russian Federation. In smaller towns across Russia, people wish wishing to homeschooling their children and still having and navigate certain red blocks. For example, school official may be unwilling to supply parents with their pupils' records. Our legal team has prepared a package of documents, links, and that educate the parents about their rights and help prepare the necessary papers for switching for homeschooling. We are provided this package free of charge. Thanks to our public education efforts, we longer have to keep a large team of lawyers, and the amount of requests for legal help us substantially reduce. I should also note that there have no major case of parents' rights being infringed in Russia that would have necessitated legal action. This may be to fact that so far homeschooling in Russia is still relatively rare. The main point of concern remains getting certificates of secondary education. In Russia, to enter a university or college, one needs to provide a certificate of secondary education and unified state exam certificate, like SAT, Russian SAT. A children can only sit for USC and get the necessary certificate at state certificates center that is, of course, in school. This for case of all homeschooled high schoolers to enroll in school. However, since such pupils are not content as full-time students, and the school received no state funds to convert their education. This make homeschoolers burden most schools try to get rid of, forcing them to revert to full-time schooling. Realizing the scope of this problem, our company developed its own IT platform for preparing and testing homeschooling pupils that we provide to school free of charge. Thus, we enable school to test such pupils without upsetting the school regime or placing extra burden on the teaching staff. By the way, schools found our platform equally useful for those of the full-time student that would like to study from home. In 2021, had around 800 of such students were also actively supporting these parents of such homeschool children, advertising them of subject like best practice, socialization, and different. And this third point, GR, despite Russians, the favorite legislative climate from homeschooling officials regularly voice the desire to future regulate the homeschooling scene. We and also the lawyers from the National Association from Family Education are actively opposing such developments. Thanks to joint efforts of lawyers, bloggers, and parents from across Russia, we have successfully toward numbers of such laws began being passed. This is subject that calls for cooperation, not only among homeschooling parents, but also people practicing alternative education programs. We need to always keep in touch. This is why we are doing a lot of streaming program on social network to discuss these issues for help our family get cooperation and know each other better. We also are convinced that it's vital for us to take part in expert panels in local and international conference so that we would share our practical experience and speak of new research into homeschooling. For example, our company is a member of Pedagogical Universities Association, chaired by the Russian Ministry of Education. Also, in the 5 years, we co-directing the Moscow Education Salon, the largest education even in Russia. And concluded my talk, I would like to say that in this difficult time, what is vital is the ability to connect and to cooperate, not confrontation, that to join effort and dialogue between state and the parent community. We hope that Russia will continue to be a country. It will be possible to rise and educate a decent generation with a background of traditional values, and that homeschooling will once again became the traditional form of education as it was in the previous century. Thank you very much.